Hi, I'm Brooke Hinkle, formerly Brooke Omise, and let's get rolling. All right, underneath my artifact folder, here is my secondary artifacts, and then here is my evaluation sign-off. Here is everything that some of the things that I did in elementary world. Then here are the few things that I did in the district worlds. Here's my goals video. Obviously, when I started this program, I hadn't quite reached some of the goals, but my 1 to 5 year, I was planning on doing 4th grade, which I did. I'm still coaching volleyball. I am now the team lead. I am still doing PD trainings, and I am currently either looking for an administration role or a coaching role next year. My 6 to 10 year goal is either be an instructional coach or be an administrator, or an assistant administrator, I should say, and then beyond 10 years, an administrator of a building. So my leadership philosophy, there were 4 main things that I wanted to make sure that I do as a leader. Be transparent with my staff and my stakeholders, have effective communication. I've definitely worked for leadership teams before that did not have the best communication, so that is something that's super important to me. Delegating and empowering my staff, sharing the power, have them shine as well, and then making sure that my staff and my stakeholders and students know our vision and mission and purpose at our building. Here is my plan of study, and I got it done under a little less than 2 years, which I was super stoked about. Then here's the resume that I sent in for MTSS facilitators this year, administration, and then also the Aspiring Leaders Pool, which I actually just got an interview about that. So as you can see, I am very, very involved, especially this year in our districts. Here is my final NELP standards. There's all my districts, elementary, and secondary. I am definitely thinking more of the elementary route, so that is why I have so much more hours. But I definitely got a ton of hours as well in secondary because we are a K-8 building, so I worked a lot with also our middle school kiddos. Here's my activity tracker. So if it's highlighted in baby blue, that's how I kept organized on if the component was completely fulfilled or not, which obviously they all are. And then here is, I've got Miss Tanya Ringel. She's my assistant principal. She's who I worked a little bit more closely with when it came to the elementary side. And then LaTanya Kennedy, she is my principal now, and she signed for both my district and my secondary because with secondary, obviously, I worked with her to go upstairs and work with my secondary people. But with the district, the PDs that I ran and the ELA task force and the listening session that I was a part of for the district, I was a representative for the district and went in and represented our school on how they thought that the district was doing. So I was that representative with that. So she signed the secondary and the district because she's just who I've been around the whole time for that. Here is my annotated bibliography. Definitely a lot of work, holy moly, but worth the time. Very impactful. 47 pages, which is the biggest paper that I've ever wrote. So I was impressed with myself, and definitely felt accomplished when I got done with that. Doing my highlight video. Let's get to my artifacts. All right, so for the districts, so I actually shared this video, and it was over people first language. So I shared this video with my entire staff and just making sure that they are putting the person before the disability. It's really easy to abbreviate or call a student quickly by SPED Kid, but we need to do what's appropriate and use people first language. I'm part of the ELA district task force, so we work very heavily in the SRGs and the grading scales. And what I have personally done recently was I created all of these data tracking sheets, and so this just helps teachers stay organized on what standard that they have already covered. And we want about 3 to 4 data points per thing, so that's why there's 3 boxes, and then the bold highlighted ones are ones that are tracked by this district. Here's the listening session that I was talking about. I was the representative for Gordon Parks, and I went in and took all of the notes that my staff had given me and shared what we thought needed to be addressed, what needed to be fixed, and what we thought was going well in the district. And we worked with higher ups in the district to share our feedback. Here I am part of the crisis team here at Gordon Parks Academy. So I did meet with my AP, and we just went over kind of what the plan was this year, a review to see if there was anything that we needed to fix from the year prior, and signed off on it. Here we got our parent consent, so just making sure that our parents are fully informed with the policies, laws, regulations, for the parents' rights regarding their students' special education. That covers districts. Elementary. So I actually shared this video when we got our procurement cards. Our district gives us an allotted amount depending if you're Title I or not. So I showed this on what the proper card usage was for our district. Here, I did a case study in one of my classes, and I had to choose what I believed was best suited for the student who had brought a weapon to school. It was his first time offense, so it wasn't something that he was using. Another student fessed up to it being there, so I had to make my ethical decision on how I would handle the situation. Here, obviously I have done a ton of IEP meetings. I actually had one today, but just making sure that I'm advocating for my students and advocating in an inclusive and supportive setting for all of my kiddos. Here, this Powtoon is regarding FERPA, and it's just making sure that I'm advocating for equitable access to educational resources, procedures, and opportunities for all students. The ticket sales and receipt procedures. This is an infographic that just broke down the role and procedures for the gate workers at our school. We do have, since we are middle school, we do have volleyball games, we have track meets, we have basketball games. So this was actually shared for how you should be following and tracking for ticket sales and receipts. This day we did the Journeys curriculum in service. So when we adopted the SRGs, that was a year after we had just adopted the Journeys curriculum. So what we did was we went through the curriculum and looked to see, all right, where can we connect the standards? What kind of stuff can we cut the fluff? That way we're getting the biggest bang for our buck and not overusing the curriculum. Here I created this huge document over all of the assessments, district, state, and curriculum based, and then after that, I just organized it on when it was given, whether it's K through 8, and then on top of that, I've got a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and this kind of just says whatever tier this kid falls under, these are the kind of interventions that we have here at Gordon Parks, and once you are there, we'll revisit after a few weeks of being placed in that intervention. 3, 4, 5, we do kite assessment, so we use this to definitely drive a lot of our small groups. This is a flyer just informing about how our race, our diversity, our reduced free lunches, and our SES of our students here at Gordon Parks. I was in charge of the Reading with the Shockers program. So why that's important is I was connecting with the WSU people, and I was in charge of bringing the athletes in, assigning times, and giving teachers support and certain like ELA activities that they could possibly do with their athletes. I created this Tornado map. It just says, for the crisis team, and it's currently hanging up on all the walls now. Again, looking at FastBridge data, so our FastBridge data meeting, looking at that data, and then creating those interventions groups, which I was in charge of. And then me as an administrator for the day, I experienced all sorts of things, behaviors, having to contact parents, just being able to go in and observe in classrooms. So it was a really great experience for me. And then when COVID hit, it was a team committee of getting together, making sure parents felt safe to bring their kids back, teachers felt safe to come back, and then just going through spreading all of the signs that were needed to be done and everything along those lines. I also gave STOIC presentations. I've given this about 4 times now. So this PD just helps with classroom management. The reflection, so I'm just going to kind of talk about it. At the beginning, before I started this program, I thought it was going to be a ton of work and difficult. I'm definitely someone who, when they start something, they have to finish it. So, I've been very happy with this program. I feel like, I've learned a lot, and that I'm definitely ready for the next role in my leadership move, whether it's MTSS coach or administration. And then, all of my courses, I felt like were very impactful. I didn't feel like any of them were just kind of busy work. All of my classes I felt were very meaningful and definitely impacted me and my leadership philosophy. All right, secondary. Oops. We had meetings about analyzing our mission and vision. So we went through that and looked to see, does it align with what our students are needed? And we actually changed our vision and mission statement last year. Here, this is the observation protocol that we now use. This just lets new teachers and also teachers who don't quite understand the observation protocol, just kind of the step-by-step on what exactly needs to happen, especially when it comes to your formal and informal observations. The Gordon Park social contracts, we are part of this. We're a Capturing Kids Heart team, and so we were tasked to go through and create the social contract with our staff for just our social norms. And then I am part of the Capturing Kids Heart leadership meeting, which we actually just had one the other day also. So on top of this 3 hours, another 3 hours, and just one of the representatives comes in from the program. They meet with the task force, which I am a part of, and we just share how we believe Capturing Kids Hearts has impacted our school and what we could do better to grow our school as a Capturing Kids Hearts school. I'm also part of the behavior committee, so I'm in charge of looking at tier procedures, systems, behaviors, and just seeing in what role can we fix to try to get behaviors up or down in different areas of the building. And then I also helped with the technology deployment. I created this sign-in info for all parents to log into when they got to the school, and was a part of that. I also supervised a school dance, which that obviously was a lot of fun. And then my candidate research and interview, I had a research about interviewing and finding the right candidates, and I learned a ton from my administrators on what to do and what not to do during an interview. So yeah, that is my EAT portfolio. I only have 1 minute left, so I hope you enjoyed, and I just thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.